Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this week's video we are going to have a look at the clothing or fashion items I regret buying, so you don't have to make the same mistakes when you're building your wardrobe. I try to be quite thoughtful with the purchases I make, but I'm still learning. I still make mistakes, quite a few actually, but I thought this would be a great opportunity to learn from said mistakes and to share all of my learnings with you in this video. I do have quite a few failures on my list, so let's get right into this video and I'll share with you the first clothing item that I regret buying. So this is the first item I'm going to be sharing with you today. This is a Holland Cooper woolen skirt, and while it is very beautiful, I really love the skirt, like the look of the skirt, it is just not my cup of tea, you know? The style is not quite me. I think maybe it's because it's a bit too tight fitting on me. It is a little bit too small as well. That's something I tend to do sometimes. I tend to buy something and if it's a little bit too small, I'm like, maybe I'm going to lose some weight and I'm going to fit into it very nicely in a few months' time, and then I never lose the weight. And yeah, it's just too tight fitting at the moment, so I can't really wear it. But the most annoying thing about this skirt is actually how itchy the material is. This is 100% wool, which is incredible. I love a good woolen piece in my wardrobe and I have a lot of woolen items, but this one in particular, although it's lined, it does have a lining inside. It's still the most itchy item in my wardrobe that I can think of. And the material is something you just can't change about clothing items. So if a material doesn't feel comfortable on your skin, it's never going to be comfortable on your skin. It sounds so obvious, but for some reason I've just fallen into that trap countless times with many wardrobe items, because I'm like, no, it's going to be fine. It's not that itchy. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. And then I never wear the item because it doesn't feel comfortable on my skin. So unfortunately, this skirt is a prime example for the mistake I make when it comes to buying woolen clothes. And I do have two more items that fall into this category, so that's my first learning. If the material doesn't feel nice, it's definitely not worth the purchase, so I'm going to stay clear of that in the future. The next item are actually two items, because I have two very scratchy jumpers. This is a Max Mara one. It's beautiful. I love the look of it, but I don't wear it. I always have to wear something underneath, and because this is a turtleneck, it just scratches on your neck. So that's something maybe to consider. If you really love a jumper, if it's not a turtleneck, you could probably go for, because you can wear, I don't know, some kind of thermal underneath, and then it wouldn't feel as horrible on your skin. But if it's a turtleneck, it's always gonna scratch your neck, and I just can't bear it. It is really, really bad with this one. It is 100% wool again, which is very nice. I mean, I love natural materials, but with wool, you really have to be quite selective. And the second jumper is this white lily silk one. Same goes for this one. It is just very uncomfortable on my skin. And also, it is white, which white is just not my color. I don't feel very comfortable when I'm wearing white on top. I just feel very bulky and very big, and probably that's just the way I think about myself and it's all in my head. But for some reason, I don't like myself in whites that much. And yeah, a white itchy jumper again is just a failed purchase and wasn't worth the money, to be frank. Alright, and the next thing on my list are actually trousers in general. I do own a few trousers because they came with blazers that I own, so they were like a full suit. And I thought, okay, let's get them to complete the suit. I'm probably going to wear them at some point, but it never happened. I don't like trousers on me. I just don't. I don't think it suits my body type. I don't think it's very flattering on me. I've not tried a pair of trousers that I would say suits me. So why did I go out and think it would be clever of me to get myself a pair of trousers, or rather two? So what I've learned from buying these trousers is just trust in yourself. You know what you like to wear. You know where you feel the most beautiful and comfortable in. I don't know, it's just something that I've always known. I don't like trousers, so why don't I trust in this feeling? I mean, it's totally fine to go out and try new styles, and maybe there's something you really like and you're like, wow, this style of, for example, trousers really suits my body and maybe I should get it. But if you put a pair of trousers on and you're like, nah, it's not something I feel beautiful in, then maybe don't get them. Or not maybe, definitely don't get them. You have to feel confident and comfortable in your clothes because that is what the world is going to see. And if from your past experiences you know that these kinds of clothing items you're just not going to wear, then don't bother going for them. Be realistic. That's something I need to learn myself. Be realistic about the purchases I make and whether I'm actually going to wear the clothes I buy. My next closet failure are actually shoes, and I'm quite embarrassed to say, but I've got 3 pairs of shoes that fall into this category. So I've got these black Chelsea boots from Merman, I've got these beautiful loafers from Carmina Shoemaker, and I've got these off-white Converse. Now you might be thinking, well, these shoes are all very different. How can they all be wardrobe failures? It's not about the look, it is about the fit. All of these shoes are too tight on my feet, and that's something that's quite specific to me. I have very wide feet, so I struggle with buying shoes, but I keep buying shoes that are too narrow. And that sounds really stupid, but if you are someone who struggles finding shoes because your feet are too wide, you kind of get a bit delusional when you try on shoes. Almost every time I try on a pair of shoes, it's going to be too tight on my foot. So my brain, being my brain, started doing things like this. Oh, these shoes are made from leather. Maybe they'll stretch out and you will fit into them after wearing them a couple of times. Well, these shoes are made from fabric, so they will be comfortable at some point in time. And so many people love these shoes and wear them constantly, so they will fit you at some point. To be honest, this has never happened. Shoes that are too tight and feel uncomfortable on your foot when you're trying them on will very likely not get very comfortable over time. Leather does stretch, and I do have a pair of Carmina shoes that was a little tight when I got them and they stretched out. So now they're really comfortable and I can wear them over longer periods of time. But there's a difference between a shoe being comfortable and just that little tiny smidge too tight, and shoes just being too tight. So from this list, I guess this is the point I struggle the most with, just because finding shoes for me is so difficult. But you can apply this learning to almost every piece of clothing. I mean, clothes can be altered, so you do have a little bit of play in that area. But if something is just too tight fitting, don't go for it. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm just going to lose some weight and then I'll fit into this garment. Or if you have a pair of shoes, I'm just going to wear them loads and they will get comfortable over time. I don't think it's the smartest way of purchasing clothes. Purchase clothes that fit, purchase accessories that fit, and just don't rely on maybes, I would say. So that is something I really need to learn. That's something I need to keep in mind and need to apply to buying clothes. Don't buy maybes, buy things that work. The next bad purchase I made is this dress. This is a dress from a brand called Sky. I did a collaboration with them, and for this collaboration I picked this dress, so I didn't pay for it myself. And that is also why I kept this dress rather than sending it back, because it was an American brand and it would have cost me quite a little bit of money to send it back. So I decided against it and kept it. With this dress, I just wanted to try something new. I was like, let's be a little bit bolder, let's buy something you wouldn't normally go for. And so I took something that had puff sleeve, this quite square neckline. It is a midi dress, it's very tight fitting, and it's not made from the materials I would normally go for. So a lot of things about this dress just didn't sit quite right with me, but I wanted to give it a go. But again, as I mentioned before, just don't keep clothes that you know you don't feel comfortable in, or you know don't quite suit you right. Sometimes we can all be a little bit lazy. Maybe we forgot to return an item and now the 30 days are over and you just keep it in your wardrobe, but you never wear it. And so at some point, maybe 5 years later, you decide to just give it away, or I don't know, donate it without having worn it once. It's just something I want to really learn for myself and just not do in the future, because it's just so stupid. If you already know when trying it on that you're not quite comfortable with it, then just return it. Maybe it's just me, maybe this has never happened to anyone before, but I wanted to throw it in there. Okay, and the last clothing item, or rather clothing items I regret buying, are too many blazers. Just for context, I used to work in a suit shop and I was required to also wear a blazer at all time, or maybe a full suit. That's also why I do have these 2 trousers in my collection. But I did have to wear blazers all the time, and at the end of a 6-month period I could decide whether I wanted to keep the blazer and buy it for quite a small amount of money, or if I wanted to return it and not keep it. And because the blazers were so cheap, I actually decided to keep every single one of them. So now I have like 8 blazer, maybe more. No, I think 8 is pretty accurate. And to be honest, I would totally be fine with 2 or 3 of these blazers. So I wasn't really realistic about the amount of times I would want to wear a blazer. I just saw the small price tag and I was like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna need it at some point, so might just buy all of them. But now I have all of these suit jackets and it's such a shame because they are just in my wardrobe waiting for me to wear them, and I just don't. So my learning from buying all of these blazers is be very realistic about the amount of time you wear a garment. So let's say you are absolutely obsessed with blazers and you want to wear them every single day in the week, then go for it. Build a huge blazer collection if that's something that brings you joy. But for me, I rarely ever wear a blazer, maybe once or twice a week. So having a black one, a beige one, and maybe a fun one, that would be totally fine, and I would never ever need any more blazers. But now I have this huge collection. So the next time you decide whether to buy an item or not, ask yourself, how often will I actually wear this? Is this an item that I really like to wear on a daily basis? Or is this an item I rarely ever wear? Maybe something I would wear once a week or once a month. Do I really need 3 of these or 4 of these? Or is 2 enough? You know, these kinds of questions are something I really want to ask myself when buying something in the future. For example, I really love knitwear. I could wear knitwear every single day and I just love it. So I have a huge knitwear collection and I don't feel like I'm done buying jumpers. I could probably have double of the amount and still not feel like I have too many of them or that I don't reach for them. But on the other hand, there are a lot of categories where I might not need as many items as I already have or as I think I need. So that's something I try to be quite mindful about when shopping and really just buying the things I love to wear and that I need. So let's talk about some final thoughts I have. First of all, I hope you can learn from my mistakes and that you'll maybe be able to be a bit more mindful and avoid purchasing items you're not going to wear in the future. I also want to say that sometimes things that feel like failed purchases can turn out to be quite good purchases. I did recently have a few items that I bought maybe 3 years ago that I haven't worn for the first 2 years, but that now turn out to be great items that I love to wear. For example, I've had a workout leggings that I didn't like as much, but within like the last half year, I started wearing it a lot and started really enjoying it. But before that, I had it in my wardrobe for maybe 2 years, and also like a little short jacket that I like to work out in. So sometimes when you change, your taste's gonna change, and maybe you will find some gems hidden in your wardrobe that you didn't think about and that you never pulled out maybe 2 years ago, but now you might really enjoy them. So not every purchase you make that you don't instantly start loving and wearing is going to be a failed purchase. That's just something I wanted to mention and touch on very briefly at the end here. But equally, I think it's just very smart to be very mindful when buying something, not being blinded by the item when you're putting it on, or maybe the price tag you're seeing, or whatever it might be, but being quite realistic about if you're going to wear the item, because that is what it comes down to. It's not how reasonably priced something is or how beautiful it looks on a hanger or maybe even on yourself. If you're not wearing the item, it's not worth a purchase. Sometimes a beautiful piece is just not the right piece for you. Alright guys, so this was my video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to share any wardrobe fails yourself, or if you have any lessons you've learned over the years that you wanted to share with us, then leave a comment down below. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts on that topic. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!